Thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Andrea Macari. I am a clinical psychologist board certified in behavioral and cognitive psychology and the owner and clinical director of a group private practice in Manhasset. I am going to teach you my absolute favorite coping skill. I learned it 20 years ago as a graduate student working in a psychiatric hospital. And ever since then, I have taught it to every single patient I have come in contact with. And it is one of their favorites too. So it's called opposite action. And it's based on the premise that every emotion has an action that follows. So I'm going to talk to you now about 3 different unhealthy negative emotions that you likely experience over the course of the week or the month or maybe the year, and how opposite action can help you. Let's start with depression, right? When people are depressed, what's the action? They're usually socially withdrawn, they have a hard time getting out of bed, they struggle to get tasks completed, they isolate. And if they just keep doing those actions, they're going to be more and more depressed as time goes on. So let's do opposite action. Well, what's the opposite of those withdrawn, isolating behaviors? It's to activate. It's to do. So when you're feeling depressed, do the opposite action. Get out of bed. Try to get little tasks done, right? Try to push yourself and socialize, maybe even exercise, and you're going to see, you're going to feel a lot better. What about another unhealthy negative emotion like anxiety and fear? When we're feeling anxious or fearful, you know what we do? We avoid, right? We avoid. Well, what's the opposite action of that? It's actually to expose yourself. So think about if you were feeling socially anxious. You might be invited to a party and not want to go, right? Very fearful. What happened? Will anyone talk to me at the party? Well, do the opposite action. Instead of avoiding, go to the party, right? But the key with opposite action is you got to fully commit to it. So you can't just go to the party and stand in the corner. You got to go to the party and talk to people, maybe even ask someone to dance, get a few numbers. And what you're going to see is the more you expose yourself, instead of avoid, your anxiety in the long term will go down. Let's talk about one other unhealthy negative emotion, anger. When people feel angry, my gosh, they want to attack, they might want to seek revenge, they might want to approach somebody in a negative way. And we know anger and those associated behaviors just make you feel worse over time. So let's try the opposite action. What's the opposite action of to fight? It's actually to love. So when you're feeling angry at somebody, try to remember to tell yourself you just need to love them more. So what's that mean? Maybe it means you give them a big hug. Maybe it means you do an act of kindness for them. Maybe it means that you say some nice things to them, and you'll see over time your anger will start to dissipate. So opposite action is not only incredibly effective, it's also pretty easy to practice, and I challenge you all to try to practice it today as well as teach it to your kids. It's a really easy skill for kids of all ages to pick up really quickly. So thank you for having me, and feel free to contact me. I love to hear whether opposite action is going well for you in your life as it has for me in mine.